Hi, my name is Ibrahim.
Hi, my name is Estrella.
Hi, my name is Jesus,
Hi, my name is Alex.
and our group project was on çatalhöyük. What is çatalhöyük? Çatalhöyük is an early Neolithic archaeological excavation site located in the south-central area of modern-day Turkey, which is itself located within the Middle East. Although locals were previously aware of the settlement's existence, it was first investigated in 1958 by British archaeologists David French, Alan Hall, and James Mellart. Its origins are dated to be over 9,000 years ago. The earliest building period at çatalhöyük is approximately dated to be 6700 BCE, while its latest building period is dated to have taken place in 5650 BCE. It is presumed that çatalhöyük's original inhabitants were housed within mud brick houses. It is believed that these individuals entered their rectangular-shaped homes via the roofs, possibly aided by the use of a wooden ladder. While all houses found in çatalhöyük vary in shape and size, most followed a similar layout. This layout consisted of a central room with an oven below the stairs, where daily activities such as cooking were performed. In contrast, the raised platforms within the rooms were allocated for domestic activities such as sleeping. The image on the bottom right corner of the slide depicts two pedestals adorned with horn cones, which were found within the northeast platform in Building 77 of the excavation site. Another fascinating aspect of the çatalhöyük was their goddess worship.
Now let's talk about the theory of goddess worship at çatalhöyük, where female figurines were first uncovered by James Mellart in the 1960s. The discovery of these figures raised very important questions about the social and religious practices of the people who lived there. Mellart found many small figurines, most with exaggerated female features, leading to the idea that they might represent some kind of fertility goddess. The fact that these figurines appeared often in the site's buildings suggests that they were important to the spiritual and social life of the people. The idea of a mother goddess was strongly supported by Marija Gimbutas, a well-known archaeologist who studied early European societies. Gimbutas believed that female figures symbolized a single powerful mother goddess at the center of çatalhöyük religious practices. She argued that this goddess represented the life cycle of birth, death, and rebirth and was very closely tied to fertility. Gimbutas saw the goddess as the giver of life and prosperity, representing the earth's power to create and renew itself. In her view, the worship of the mother goddess was central to the community's spiritual life, and it affected everything from rituals to social structure. Her theory is based on 19th and 20th century ideas about matriarchal societies, the belief that early human cultures were organized around women. These ideas became very popular in the early 1900s, and Gimbutas used them to argue that early societies were extremely peaceful and focused on worshiping a goddess in contrast to later patriarchal societies. Another scholar, Rianne Eisler, built on Gimbutas's theory by arguing that these female figurines are very proof of a goddess-centered society. In her book, The Chalice and the Blade, Eisler suggested that early societies were not run by men, but were focused on respect and admiration for a feminine divine figure. She very much believed that these societies were centered on gender equality and cooperation, unlike the male-dominated societies that later arose with the development of farming and governments. However, the theory of a mother goddess at çatalhöyük has been very controversial, as critics argue that interpreting these figurines as a representation of a single all-powerful goddess is based on assumptions and lacks strong archaeological evidence, which is what we'll discuss next.
Why this theory is not scientific. This theory is not scientific because the artifacts and murals that were found were excavated by James Millard, who has been found in more than one controversy in the archaeological world. They found writings, murals, and carvings in his home that were faked. It is also said that he saw murals that he didn't photograph that were supposedly crumbled at çatalhöyük. This proves nothing about the female deity because the evidence does not exist. In order for this theory to have been true, there has to have been evidence that can be dated back 9,000 years. This theory is also more of a modern theory that cannot be trusted without more evidence from the site or from the descendants of the inhabitants. This falsifying of artifacts has made it difficult for people to believe in certain stories about the çatalhöyük. The current excavators are trying their very best to get the truth out and to erase the controversy Millard has caused. This is very similar to the Piltdown Mound controversy that we learned in class.
So, in conclusion, it's very important to be able to differentiate between scientific archaeology and pseudoscience archaeology. The important factors include things such as integrity. Integrity maintains the reputation of archaeology and makes sure the conclusions are based on the truth. Scientific archaeology often involves honesty and transparency. Pseudoscience archaeology sacrifices integrity by cherry-picking data and refusing to revise exaggerated claims with evidence that contradicts it. Ethics. Ethical behavior builds trust and ensures that there is a responsible preservation of history. Scientific archaeology operates within ethical frameworks and makes sure that artifacts are studied without exploitation or harm. Pseudoscience archaeology usually disregards ethics by misrepresenting artifacts, and it also prioritizes popularity over preservation. Credibility. Often it is stressed that credibility is very important when it comes to scientific fields. In the case of scientific archaeology, credibility is derived from things such as evidence-based conclusions and peer reviews. However, pseudoscience archaeology often relies on unverified claims that support personal amusement rather than facts in unbiased interpretations. Another important factor is that it shapes public opinion and understanding. Shaping public opinion with accurate science promotes creativity and real research. Not only does scientific archaeology do that, it also helps the broad public understand the past and the real events of history. Pseudoscience archaeology distorts the public's understanding of the past by spreading misinformation such as myths and theories with very little to no evidence. And lastly, it directs attention away from actual science. When attention is directed towards pseudoscience archaeology rather than scientific archaeology, real discoveries may be neglected or even never discovered. This may keep the general public from actually discovering the truth through meaningful studies. And here are references.